Sit a bunch of 60-year-old people down in an auditorium. Ask them a question, and you can be sure that those who want to speak are going to do one thing: raise their hands. Isn't it funny that one of the very first lessons we've learned in school sticks with us the longest, to the point where anyone in American society who wishes to speak amidst a group is going to feel an almost overwhelming compulsion to raise their hand in the air? Communication is funny that way. It was one of the first things we learned to do as a species, sitting around a fire and grunting at each other. And it's one of the first things we learn as students. You would think, what with all of the communication tools of our time anchored in the internet and the virtual world, that communication in a virtual school would be a piece of cake. The trick is, this cake requires your active participation as a student. In a traditional school, when a teacher wanted to give you information or ask you a question, it was as simple as saying your name and speaking the language. But in a virtual world, you have to accept the responsibility of checking various communication tools to see if a teacher is trying to reach out to you. In other words, we may be able to give you all the ingredients of the cake in a box, but if you want a piece, you're going to have to bake it yourself. Why should you be on top of your communication tools? Because that's where all the goodies are. Seriously, everything from extra credit assignments, important class announcements, tutorial times, club listings, and the little extras our teachers produce just to help our students out. Everything beyond the bare bones curriculum is going to be sent to you through a virtual communications tool, one way or the other, and you have to commit to being the kind of person who checks these things multiple times daily. This can be one of the make or break elements of being a virtual student, and now that you know that, you can be prepared to read every email, every course announcement and banner, listen to every voicemail, and be on instant messenger during your work hours. In return, you'll find that you're plugged into your school and teachers like never before, and help and support is literally only a split second away. We've come a long way from grunting as we sit around a roaring fire. So what kind of communications can you expect? You'll be able to find announcements about the course, weekly work schedules, extra credit offers, class and group project announcements, and testing assignments, among others, in your email and in your courses themselves. Teachers are pretty good about doubling up on messages, so checking your courses and your email several times a day will definitely be the way to make sure you don't miss the latest and the greatest. If you need immediate help or just a little guidance, using your instant messenger is the way to go. In fact, the more you communicate with your teachers, the better. We have everything except for virtual smoke signals. We want you to use all that technology to stay in touch with us. Now that you know why it's important to communicate with your teachers and what kind of communications you can expect to receive, let's talk about what they need to look like. We all know that communication changes with the tools, and nothing epitomizes that more than the kind of slang shorthand we call text speak. There's a place for informal, short and sweet language. After all, you're not going to write Shakespeare in Morse code, and I can't really see Tonto going into a lot of depth as he sends up smoke signals. That being said, this is an academic environment, which means that the language we expect is formal, academic language. The tool you are using doesn't dictate the kind of language you use. The environment does. Maybe you use slang, no punctuation, and short statements with your friends, but we expect and will require a higher standard of communication in order to prepare you for college academics. That means proper punctuation, spelling, and well-formed sentences. Don't worry, you can still have a personality in your communications. You're just going to have to do it in more than 140 characters. Finally, keep in mind attitude and tone in your communications. Ask for help, don't demand it. Your teachers are going to strive to be energetic, passionate, and caring in their lessons and their communications with you. In return, respect that effort in your instant messages and emails. Our communication is going to be the bedrock of your virtual experience. Make sure you build it strong.